What is up? The 43rd weekly governance call to go over all things that comes up inside the ShapeShift forum and use your Fox to vote for. Allow some organic discussion between the community to jump in and be participants. If you can also use the ShapeShift DAO stage chat, continue to check that out throughout our call and see if I can at the top of that ShapeShift DAO stage today. So that's where all the visuals are at. All of these calls also get recorded, and maybe if you're watching this from the show, the way this got out, what the next steps from those proposals are.
You earlier, I heard these governance calls. Product engineering, the whole check on some other DAOs recently and other, bigger projects. Appreciations here, like live, and so I was fond of appreciations.
And some more private meetings, but I think that it's great for us to get because people can get those appreciations out. I think that's a great idea. We could. Would you like to lead some appreciation?
No. And let me just jump up here and cool. That I would have been cool with that too. So I appreciate that. And I also multiple conversations going on, and I just or even like attitude, hearing and beyond. So I really appreciate. I am going to see Adam in real life.
Definitely second all of that stuff about Ocean. Oh.
Yeah, super. Definitely appreciate the thorough general right now in the DAO, and I know that we have a nice future ahead of us. So,
thanks, Ocean. Read the Fox props for the week. I think I can shout out. If you're not familiar, there is a channel, so they don't have to be just segregated to an appreciation. Like this week, Carmina started a new assignment to you, Carmina, and all over the place from Hunt. So yeah, I appreciate GK for all that he does and helping so many people out here, and appreciate GK as well.
Now in particular, because he said he's driving him now.
Right. So we're going to that, Josh. I really like that. I hope people can shout out their fellow contributors or things that they appreciate. Back to our agenda. That have already passed, or a suggestion of how the DAO should operate, and proposals that are currently up for vote. These will get the and that's a great time to come up and have. Then we're going to go into proposals that are in the ideation phase. This is something that has gone through the forums for the allotted amount of time, seen some review, and had a poll that has seen positive sentiment. It can then go to a ideation phase. I guess the poll is in ideation right now. We're in a weird middle ground of getting ideation back into boardroom. But right now, anything that is in its templatized form to go from of gathering that poll information might be looking for help in ink. This is where we can definitely let our voice be heard around making sure the DAO and something that we're interested in doing, synchronous nature of the threads. So we'll spend some time talking about those and any of the new ones that have come up there. And then that forum is also able to be a place for people to post things that aren't necessarily going to be funneled through our governance process, but just notifications to the rest of the DAO. And we use this call as well to talk about those things and just give a stage to announcements, notifications, updates, things like that that might happen. So we will have that. And then after that, we try and leave a couple of minutes for Q&A for folks to talk about things they might want to see about the governance process itself. And then we make it a good GM and go on our merry ways. So I believe it is Friday backend to use Fox for polling any spam measures there. We do have a rule that just to prevent us from civil attacks and things. The question about Foxy counting, I'm not sure PTT in the stage chat. First, this had, and they used the addendum to the analytics proposal.
About this a lot, but it passed, so we're super through some final details. And if I sound a little tired, that's why. Thank you.
Go live. You can always. Moving on to our next one, past proposal is the SCP-81, enable partial salaries of Fox. And this was proposed by Josh or Joshua AF. Have any additional budget to it, but it does salary payments locked up in Fox.
Questions, if there are any, about it.
Coming payroll that workstream contributors out here have already opted into this, at least we have.
Yeah, it is send less stable coins from the treasury.
Awesome. And I know that the workstream leaders are working really hard to continue to look at that. Maybe we'll be able to have some look back metrics about how this lockup and bonus thing through Hedgie has allowed us to save X amount of dollars or things like that for the runway. I think that'd be a really cool snapshot we might be able to build and look at in a couple of payrolls times.
Oh yeah, we'll be able to do that for sure.
Sweet. Awesome, Josh. Doesn't look like there are any questions about that.
In the chat, Darwin says, "What? I don't know actually number of people, but dollars worth of Fox that was elected to be paid in Fox, and that does not include. But that is just like the salary, and it was around that number.
Awesome. There's another question in the chat.
So I know that they could be a snapshot strategy, and maybe someone else is a snapshot. So if it's not now,
it looks like Ocean's ourselves to unlock that. I know Willie's in Austin right now, but I'm sure Willie will catch up on this, and we'll get use our Foxy to vote. So for that, but thank you, Josh, for being a great tool for us to have and helping us meet. So we don't have any updates about ideation actually back in boardroom, but like PTT mentioned in the chat earlier, it will be coming back soon. And this, right now, we are kind of using the forum as a band-aid for this, and having people create polls that just have yeses or nos based on the proposal forum with a poll at the bottom. Soon we'll be able to have that template be actually posted directly to Boardroom, and people will be able to connect their wallets and vote yes or no that way. This has been something that was working way at the beginning of the DAO and then broke, and we've been anxiously awaiting its return and have built our processes through as a proposal. And I hope that we will see these in the new posts that are soon to be ideation posts, San and Diggy. If y'all want to hop up here, we can kind of knock them out however you want to come up. Maybe Diggy first so we can get her off to bed. GM, Diggy, GM.
Thanks, I appreciate that. So I just posted a draft and specific goals there. Down and stepping out of the DAO for a while to take a break. Budget, we are going to try to move forward without, as graciously agreed to split goals that we were planning to hire for. So we are going to be stretched a bit thin. Spend from the last round we're down overall about another from the previous round, which can be, we also have some 50K. And then we have XLR for doing the UX for bridging host with like our old budget or new, it's a lot in there. I am, if we get into this thing a few months, if we need to, like we've done in the past.
Team is lean and mean, and it's really awesome. Very excited for you guys.
Thanks.
I would say, folks, too, we've seen a lot of healthy dialogue. Please check your eyes out on that and keep your eyes peeled. Workstream proposals coming up for renewal while we're in this bear. Go get your thoughts out there and get and chat about the Fleek account.
Hi, everyone. So tool that we are using currently to build and deploy our main application that's served at app.shapeshift.com. We just cut over from Cloudflare pages to Fleek because Fleek allows us to deploy our site to IPFS and that is a really big win for us in terms of decentralization and censorship resistance. And the kind of side benefit of all that is Fleek is very focused on enabling Web3 across the board, and very friendly to DAOs. So we've already communicated with them, and they're very willing to have us transfer the owner of the account out of the foundation's name and into the hands of the DAO directly. And beyond that, they've actually enabled the ability for the DAO to own it through the multi-sig that we currently have set up. It's pretty cool. And they also, and the last thing is that they accept crypto. So basically, we can completely remove the foundation as the owner of this, transition it to the DAO. The expenses are very low. And it's just kind of one of the very first pieces of infrastructure that we can fully hand over, and hopefully what's coming to be more and more that gets out of the foundation hands and into the hands of the DAO directly. So that's the TLDR. Happy to answer any questions about it that there may be.
Awesome. Thanks, Ocean, and thanks for all that you're doing at the foundation here to help us DAO our way to the fully decentralized future. This is a great step forward in that. And I don't think there's any questions here for this.
No-brainer. Yeah, hopefully it's definitely a no-brainer for everyone. I will happily move it over to the next phase of governance if that's allowed at this point. Tyler, maybe you can remind me if I'm allowed to move it to ideation, since it's been up for like 4 days now.
I think the timeline on ideation is 5 days there, but I think the forum post is 3 days, so I think you should be good to go.
Okay. Cool. So then I'll move it over and add a poll to it. And just in general, I think it's cool that we start to utilize some of these features that companies are putting out that enable DAOs, and hopefully we'll see more of that as we continue down this path.
Yeah, I look forward to it. So thank you, Ocean, for leading the way in that. Cool. I have one last one on this new ideation draft, and that is from Adam Hassan, the partnership with Resonant, a revest finance protocol. And I think the best way to talk about this would be to direct most people to the tokenomics call that happened earlier this week. Revest was a guest there, and they chatted kind of about an entire proposal. The proposal that they have inside the forum is not necessarily in our full template for proposal yet, but has a whole bunch of information about their way that suggests we could use some NFT tooling that they have to use some of our passive treasury to make investment kind of return gain on it. So I don't want to mince words or say things that aren't specifically from what the Revest team is, but there's a big, deep couple of pages on the forum there, and a really great call that the tokenomics team kind of led with the Revest guys. So please check out that call as a first look. And thanks PTT for posting that inside the stage chat there if you'd like to follow up on it. Cool. We do have a series of things that were in the old ideation, or the ideation draft phase from last week, so now they're in the old slides for this week. But these have all spent enough time that they could be triggered to the proposal, or to these are drafts that could become ideations. They're not ideation posts yet, but could soon be them. We have Kent, Professor McCarthy, Gray Machine, and Marley. You guys kind of all hopped up last week to tell us what's going on. Any news about moving these over to ideation or changes?
Yeah, I just posted something today, and there's a link to it. I would like to move it forward. I would like more feedback also. And I think dropping the idea of a Luna bounty, I think it's more abstractable to a IBC chain bounty. So I would really like to get some feedback from some engineering people that maybe could help scope the amount of time they think it would take and what they think a reasonable compensation is. But essentially, like each in IBC chain that's integrated, there's a standing bounty of let's say 10,000 Fox, and I would be great for it to be in Fox, so we don't have to drain stables. But I would love to get some feedback from engineering if that seems reasonable. And I think I'll move this to ideation very soon. I was going to give a chance for anyone to give feedback here. Yeah, generally in favor more like, yeah, and Luna's not is it's struggling. We'll say that. I just applied for a Yumi how do they call them? I'm sorry, delegation grants from the strategic reserves. So last quarter we got 2 million Yumi delegated to the ShapeShift validator, and I just filled that out again. I was excited to add some updates like, hey, now Cosmos is in there and Osmos is like super close. And hey, I'd love to see Yumi be one of the next ones. So I think that's good context. And if we have a proposal, maybe we can ask for some kind of match from some of these other chains to incentivize it further. So yeah, that's where that's at. I think it's better to have the standing now that we have a solid template for IBC chains like Osmosis and Cosmos. It should, I've heard, air quotes, it takes an engineer a weekend or a day to add it into Unchained and the front end. So I would think it would be cool to have some kind of standardized process.
To spread this out to IBC instead of just doing Luna here. And I think there's definitely some ground we can run up with potentially getting some support from the UMI community or other future IBC protocols that we can do swaps or grants or incentivized relationships. I think there's definitely a lot of great benefit to be had from this, and it's scalable.
Yeah, great network effects and et cetera. And I'll just make one last plea to please delegate to the Luna validator. I was kind of anticipating a little bit more, but I'll drop that link in the stage chat. So far, we're sitting at about 300,000-ish, just under that. Okay, and that's the kind of feedback I'd like to hear, DeFi, that it's one chain a day is a myth. And so, yeah, I think that's important. And maybe it's worth more than 10,000 Fox if it's actually a bigger lift. That's the kind of feedback I'd like to see in the forum. So.
Awesome. If we can direct this, maybe we can get an answer here in the call. But if not, let's get something so we can focus this into a proposal too, because the pieces look great. It's just the details we need to solidify up.
Cool. Thank you.
Luna 3.0. Oh, all right. Yeah. Thank you, Marley. And we have Professor McCarthy up here as well.
GN, Tyler, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Best DAO ever. Best day ever.
Best DAO ever.
Willie
So,
exactly.
Yeah, we got to do it a couple of times since Willie isn't here to make up for it.
For sure. So we actually got a little bit of news in terms of V3. So talking about the protocol owned liquidity mining rewards program, extending the current one that's on Uniswap and starting a new one that's on Bancor. So Bancor, just within the last couple of hours, actually rolled out an additional 18 tokens. So it looks like it's literally just it's 1 inch, all of the A's and all of the B's of the 30 DAOs that have already contributed or already made some commitments to contribute or provide some extra LM rewards. So they're in the process of doing it. I still think it's a great idea. I went ahead and posted some supplemental information earlier today in terms of others that are actually integrating Bancor, as well as others that are offering external and permanent loss protection. So for those that are interested in kind of what our peers are doing, you can take a look at that and reply to that if you have any questions or comments there. But looks like got some more votes, so looks like it's good to go in another couple of days. And yeah, if there's any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or send them my way or jump up on here.
Thanks, Professor.
Hey, Professor McCarthy, what What did you when you said they pulled another 18? What?
Oh, so they
What does that mean
posted. So
exactly?
so in V3 there was just the original 4 that they've had there for I don't know, maybe a month now. Link, Bancor token, DAI, and ETH. And now they're doing they've just put 18 extra up. But it seems like that's just the first of because there were 30 DAOs that actually at least that's according to one of their press releases. There was 30 DAOs that 30 plus token projects and DAOs, including Polygon, Synthetics, Brave, right? So there's a lot of things that aren't here. Brave is there, but Polygon's not there. Synthetics is not there, but I think it's literally just because they're later on in the alphabet. So I think they're rolling it out.
So when you say pulled, you mean they are now available on Bancor V3?
Correct.
Okay, so it's a good sign. There's more use. They're rolling out more projects onto the new version.
Yes, as was their plan. Yeah. So
Okay.
I think they're.
I just couldn't, like when you said pulled, I thought that meant like took out, right? Took away,
sorry.
like there's a problem. They've pulled projects. So
I meant as if they pulled from this list of 30, and they're it's not a complete migration yet. So
great.
it seems
That's
like
why
they're
I
halfway
came
through.
up to ask just to
Yeah,
make sure.
thank you.
That's good. Great. That's great news. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Good question. Any other questions? Take a look in the staff. Yeah, it looks like they're going in alphabet. I agree. Cool.
And this was just the first launch that they had done of it. They just dumped A and B all at once today.
Well, they've had 4 up there, so they've had like their Chainlink, their own token, DAI, and ETH. That's been up there for about a month now, earning rewards and things like that, and they've been titrating and granularly adjusting that within their forums. I've been kind of poking around there and taking a look at kind of those conversations as well. But now there's some new ones. Oh, and even as we're speaking, they've got the rest of them up there. They've got Pool, Lira, Zrex, X Sushi. So yeah, looks like it'll be a good day for Bancor.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, maybe we were a little quick to announce what they have and we just caught a mid rollout. So I think if you got this from where it was last week, depending on the sentiment of the votes, I'm pretty sure we could probably move this over to the next phase and get an official ideation. You're already nation. You're moving on to a proposal at this point.
Right. So I need 2 more days, right? Because it's 3 days, because right now it's at 3 days, but I need 5 days.
Is it at 3 days? Okay, yeah.
It's at 3 days.
You were here as a draft. Yeah, you were a draft here last week. We're official this week. Yeah, 2 more days, and we'll see you in the boardroom.
Great. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for all the help. Thanks, Willie. Thanks, John. Thank you, Josh. Good question. Thanks. GM, everybody.
GM. We also have a proposal from Kent and one from Gray Machine as well. I know Gray Machine's out in the audience. I'll give him an invite if he can come up. GM, sir.
Jim, hello. Not much to change, although I do think I misdid my order of operations because this wasn't like a work stream thing. I think it might have needed to go in I think there's special projects or something like that it might have needed to go in ideation. I mean, it was the same amount of time. I just posted it without the poll, and then once we got feedback, I added the poll. So it's kind of in the proposal form and voted and ready to go forward, but I did kind of screw up that first process. So
I think with the 2 posts, we got the intent across for sure.
Okay. Yeah, and this is the proposal for funding the post-production for the additional footage that was shot at ETH Denver, so we can use it in various marketing and other communication needs. I mean, I guess mostly marketing, but it's a $6,500 USDC ask. So all the details are in there. I think I talked about this last week, and I think maybe the week before in the AMA lunch AMA. So I doubt that there are any questions, but I'll take any if there are.
It doesn't look like we've got any in the stage chat right now. There was a question in the forum that might be good to just highlight here for those that weren't. It looks like someone asked about this maybe why it was going to go into governance instead of maybe coming out of the marketing budget?
Yep. Yeah, I did go to marketing first. The size of the ask is beyond what marketing has in terms of a just a ad hoc, I guess, thing like this. Something that is kind of coming up unexpectedly and not budgeted for. So I did go to marketing, but they just don't have 6,500, sitting around right now that can be put towards this. And I hear the argument like, well, that we are trying to stay lean and we're trying to cut marketing costs. So why spend more on marketing? And that's why we vote on these things. I think the value that we're getting, like I think I said last time, if we were to go out and shoot all this and hire a crew and get everybody in one place, like it would cost easily 10 times as much. So it's a pretty low budget for what we're getting. And it's going to be very useful stuff. And we have a very lean YouTube channel that doesn't have a lot of content. So it really does work out in our favor to spend a little money on this to get better content out there, right? Like just to get more engaging video content. So that's the idea.
Hey, Gray Machine.
Hello.
Thanks for putting this up. So I think in the proposal, right, there's a bunch of bullet points. Each one is a video, and so there's like about 30 videos that we would get. They're all short, mind you, but I just want to make sure, do I have that right? The $6,500 would give us about 30 videos?
I think it's 35. Yeah, some are short. Some are targeted as YouTube Shorts. Those are like single-person interviews. Some of them are stories pieced together from multiple interviews. So that we have some longer form stuff that's like 1 to 2 minutes, and then we have stuff that's targeted more at short form, YouTube Shorts, Instagram if we ever use that, or Twitter or whatever, just short stuff for social media. So yeah, I don't know it's kind of in flux, right? We don't know the exact duration because it's literally still being edited. All the approximate times are listed there. But yeah, you're reading that correct. That's about
Cool.
30, I think it's 35 videos total.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Gray, there's a question in the stage chat. What's the time frame to getting the content once we get approved and paid? Is that known?
That's an excellent question. It is in progress. If I came up with a time frame, I would be taking my best guess, but I will find that out from the Amadeus style guys. I'm guessing a couple week turnaround, 2 to 3 week turnaround, but and it might trickle out as they get things done. So that is a good question, and I will clarify that.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you, Gray. Thanks for keeping up on this, and thanks for turning something good out of all of that kind of content that would have been left on the cutting room floor, getting to get all of the juice out of that for the stuff you're able to string together with 35 videos, I think is a really, really lean way to continue to add to what we're doing, very minimally at cost. So props to you there for figuring that out and working with them.
Yep, thanks. Thanks for having me out.
Yep, thanks, Greg. We'll look forward to seeing this go to official proposal. Are you at the 5 days in the forum yet? We got a day or two left?
I think we're just about there. I guess maybe one more day because it would be a total of 8 days of 3 days of incubation plus 5 days on the forum. So I think it's at 7 days. So, but what I'll do is clarify the time frame because that is not in there, and I'll include that with the proposal.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Wow.
Look forward to seeing it there. And we have one last one in this list of old ideation posts and drafts. And that's Kent's draft proposal for create and maintaining yieldy tokens. This is something that is the brainchild of a lot of folks in tokenomics and the TDMC as well as engineering. That is a kind of Jurassic Park mutation of Foxy into yield bearing asset tokens for any asset, and we could kind of scale this out as a new product service for the ShapeShift product suite. It's a very big endeavor that is potentially a new first mover on a DeFi Lego piece that we could stake our claim in. So I wish I could speak as eloquently and as detailed about this as our tokenomics folks do, but I do know that there was a big reveal of this a couple of tokenomics calls ago. And there's been some good discussion of this had in the forum so far. I know Kent's out a little bit for a little bit longer before he comes back, so I would imagine we won't see this one move until a little bit later into the week next week. So that is Yieldy, and I would direct any of your folks' attention, eyes over to that tokenomics call there. Maybe someone can post it in the chat. And then we have two last new posts that aren't necessarily to do with like a full governance proposal yet. Well, actually, one of them's a new post. Both of these are old follow-up posts, actually. So we've got one from Meg and one from One Screen Please. I think I saw both of you guys out on the stage. Send some invites out and get some people up here with me. GM Meg, how are you? Oh, might have some mute issues. GM. You there?
Yeah, I'll
Maybe
jump
we'll
into
see. All right, here, yeah, go ahead, One Screen, please.
I'm the second one, right?
Yes, go ahead. We'll do Meg after. Go ahead.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so GM guys, it's Ben from StakingRewards.com. Fabian has also joined us. He's one of the leading devs at our place. Basically, yeah, so I'm glad to discuss the proposal. We've been talking for a long time about this proposal, I guess. The proposal was initially for 5 years. Now we cut it down, but yeah, basically what we went through is also on the forum. We had the proposal structured in 2 different points. One is the asset integration, which means basically the integration for the Fox token with its entirety of its validators, of course. And the other one was the provider integration, basically like your urn vaults and so on would get analyzed and so on. Yes, and also what is super special and what I'm really excited to share with you is that we've nominated you for becoming a verified provider of services. It's basically something that, yes, so basically what it means is that you would get a later point appearing more trustworthy in front of our 450k unique monthly stakers. We have a big staking community, I guess the biggest at the moment. I don't have the metrics. But yeah, are there any questions? I would really like to discuss this proposal with you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. I think that we had some folks start to ask some questions in the forum, and I think you guys reached out a long time ago, and this is following back up on it. I see Toasty's up here too. Maybe I could pass him off for some context.
Yeah, I can give a little bit of context and stuff as well. So over the past few weeks, maybe even months, myself, Hunt, and Willie Fox have been working with Staking Rewards to get the contract and the level of effort in a place that we feel would be most beneficial to ourselves, but also Staking Rewards. So we've gone back and forth and been working with them quite a bit for this latest forum post. So it has both myself and Hunt, being the workstream leaders of marketing, is like full support. Since it is a larger ask in terms of funds for this media buy, it has to essentially go up for like a forum post. We can't just automatically approve the budget and pull it from our own. And yeah, there might be some older questions on older forum posts, so we can try to go back and revisit some of those questions. I think PTT was asking about that. So let me go back and help and see if we can address some of those. But most of the questions that were raised in the last forum post were addressed by myself and Hunt directly to staking rewards, and working together with him to get to this significantly lower cost for our end, and then also the talking about us being a provider as well.
So I guess for most of our integrations of this level, we usually give enough time for conversation. It's something that might spill over into like an AMA, and I'm recognizing that we have one other person on stage that we wanted to chat with real quick, and then there was someone who requested a minute or two at the end of the call. So I definitely know we have like another 2 or 3 minutes we can dedicate to you guys right now, but I feel like that's maybe not giving the proper service to the community for this. So perhaps we could also schedule an AMA, and we can get Toasty and Willie and you guys to get something on our calendar in maybe the following week.
Yeah, let me talk about calendar stuff and seeing where we could fit that in, and talking to One Screen Please and stuff, and just seeing in regards to their time and stuff as well. Seeing when they could just do a dedicated, spot for this. Maybe we wrap it into marketing office hour or something similar to that, and dedicate like a little bit longer. Maybe it happens on the lunch MA for a longer block of time. But I think we can try to get something scheduled
Yeah, I think
sooner than later.
I agree with Tyler that for the amount of money this is looking for, also, I think its own AMA is totally warranted here.
I would completely agree. This is completely fine with me. I hope that somebody from the team will also be able to join. The only thing is that we would be looking forward to integrate you in the following batch, which is in June. A typical integration also takes about 2-3. If it's a bit more complicated, it's 4 weeks. So what we would need to do is really hurry up with this, because we would like to do that in June and get you verified and on board in the month of June.
So maybe we can get something really scheduled early for the week, and you guys already have your proposal in the first step, so it would only really require our ideation and proposal phases for the timeline before we could really trigger things if the community decides that this is something we'd like to vote in the affirmative for. I do see a comment in here that one of our contributors uses staking rewards all the time, and you guys have a great website and strong SEO, so that's another big plus from someone outside of the ones who've been working with the deal with you guys so far. Good to know.
Yeah, definitely. SEO is, I would say, the number one competitive advantage that we have before other, let's say, data analytics companies here in this space. This is also one question which was asked by PTT. So I would say this one differentiating factor is SEO, but not only that. Basically, we also work together with institutions. We are just about to launch our own ETP. That's an exchange traded product on a Swiss traditional stock exchange, right? Theoretically, the Fox token would be included at some later point if you would reach the top 10 or top 20 by staked value. But yeah, we are doing a lot of stuff as well. We have about 150 unique proprietary data endpoints that we supply to institutions such as Bitcoin Swiss, Kraken, and so on, which use our staking data mainly.
Awesome. Well, let's. I want to try and be mindful of the time that we have with these other presenters as well. So this sounds like we can definitely have an appetite for an AMA, and we'll see if we can get one scheduled right away. Thanks, Staking Reward guys, for help, and thanks, Toasty.
Yep, I'll work with you, Tyler, and everybody in the community to try to get an AMA together first half of next week, so we can keep this moving.
Yeah,
sounds
cool.
great. All right, just to keep us going, Meg, did we figure out your mute issues there? I know you've got your hands full, I assume.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. And then I realized I unmuted myself and was like taking drinks while someone was talking. So hi, this isn't my favorite appearance at the governance call. For those of you that followed along on the announcement in general, as well as the update to our We Foxed Up campaign that we launched at right before the start of our second proposal term. We had been granted 10,000 Fox, along with a small bit of, I think, USDC that we then converted into ETH for networking fees to run a campaign to ensure user retention, and just having like an extra tool in our toolbox anytime customers either had a fantastic experience, gave us some great feedback, and or maybe they had a less than fantastic experience. We had a pot of Fox to pull from to reward customers for just their loyalty, their engagement, so on and so forth. Due to some poor security practices, 100% on my end, the Portis wallet that the funds were stored in was compromised. What we're guessing after working through some blockchain forensics with the help of the security team, engineering team, and my own team, we found that it was more than likely a pretty sophisticated hacker traced the funds all the way back to the address that it was dumped off to, which, you know, had a ton of ETH in it, and the comment section read that the person was a scammer. So obviously other people had been victims of this person as well. For those of you that don't know, there was an issue with Portis. I mean, there always has kind of been an issue with Portis in the past with brute force attacks. Not that Portis specifically has any vulnerability that other wallets might not, but just having a username and password to protect your wallet leaves it open for things like brute force attack. And I did not have 2FA set up on this account, though I thought it was a strong enough password. It was not. So those funds were stolen. Basically, the private key, the person logged in, took the private key, and then went and uploaded the funds onto a different wallet. So it was in total 9,700 Fox and a little less than an ETH that was lost. I'm basically announcing it to the organization for transparency reasons. I will not be asking the DAO treasury to replenish these funds. Like I said, I'm taking responsibility for the security around this wallet, and I was a little too lax in not paying attention to making sure that it was secure. So I'm going to make sure that the funds are replenished from myself. So like I said in the forum, as well as in general, I'm not coming for any, I'm not asking for any additional money. I'm basically just coming out for transparency, and also hopefully using this as a reminder to practice good security with your wallets, especially when you are using things that are DeFi tools. So my team's going to be shaping up their security. We're going to be doing a little security hygiene review in July. If anyone wants to be a part of that, I'm sure you'd be welcome to join. Mr. Nerdhair said he'd help me out with that. And, you know, possibly even Perklin, if I can get him to just help me put together the presentation. I've had his presentation several times, so I'm pretty sure I can run even the basics on it, which is ironic because I was also the one that failed to implement the basics for my own campaign. So that's what I wanted to make sure was talked about and explained. If anyone has any questions, I don't know if there's anything in the chat. Let me look.
I want to echo what Ocean just posted just a second ago about a ton of respect to you, Meg, for taking responsibility, being transparent, and replenishing the funds as well. It's not fun to get up on stage and be the bearer of bad news of something like that, like you just did. But I definitely respect the transparency for that.
Yeah, and it's not my first rodeo. Been with ShapeShift for a long time, been in the crypto game for a long time, and these things do happen. It's not great when it happens on your watch. I'm not happy about that. But, you know, we'll get through it. Thankfully, it wasn't a significant amount of funds. It's nothing that's going to, like, break us or anything like that. It was a good warning shot reminder that we've got to make sure everything's zipped up. So thanks for your time, everybody. And like I said, if you have any other questions about it, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, someone in there says it's an expensive lesson, and yes, it's an expensive lesson for sure. But in terms of as siloed as it was, it could have been much, much worse in terms of losing keys to something more valuable than that. So I appreciate that we had a ceiling to the lesson learned here, and I definitely want to give big thumbs up and plus to anything people can attend that's security related from Mr. Nerd Hair or M. Perklin. They are two big brains that know what's up.
Yeah, they're the OGs for sure.
I think there might even be a Perklin security video inside a recorded meetings channel that maybe someone could search for and post inside the stage chat. I know he's hosted one here in the DAO previously. But thank you, Meg, for standing up and letting us know what's happened there and about how your team is going to be handling that in the future.
Yep, thanks for the time, guys.
And I believe that's all I've got for what's on the slides. I had someone out in the community from Rook ask if they could hop up and chat for a quick second. We are at time, but I think if people are okay with hearing, I believe it's Wes from Rook, I'm going to give a little send out there. Hearing a quick little pitch from Wes and Rook. And Wes, if you've seen our process too as well, maybe we could keep it short and get things into the forum to get you a more official slot in the next governance call. I've got an invite out there. I'll have to click it and accept it. There we go.
Hey Tyler, GM, MG to everyone. I'll keep it short and sweet. I was kind of tasked to reach out to a bunch of different DAOs and see if there's any interest in just kind of a collaborative AMA to hopefully educate our community on what you guys are doing, and then just do the same the other way around. So I just keep it short. That's kind of the pitch. Rook distributes value from users' orders from whatever exchange they use back to them. So a quick integration example would be Rook would be integrated on the back end, and then all the orders placed on your exchange would be free, and because they settle off the chain, and then the keepers would bid Rook to fill your order, and 80% of that bid goes to you, the user. So essentially, you're paid to trade. So that's kind of the quick 30-second rundown. Happy to talk, and just looking forward to making a governance post and getting collaboration started.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, Wes. So we're not necessarily an exchange itself. Where the way we do our trades and things is through integrations like 0x Sushi Swap or Thor Swap. So we're 100% non-custodial. I'm not sure if this would be like a service that would maybe plug into those trade features as well. Is that kind of what you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm not the keepers that bid to fill your order. They centralized exchanges as well. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Normally we either do AMAs, kind of, we can do like a joint one between our community and your community, or else, depending on the specifics, we might try and shoehorn you into like a tokenomics call or something like that. It sounds like if there's collective interest on both sides of the communities, ours and yours, maybe a group AMA would be the best thing to get on the calendar. Looks like we at least got a comment of PTT's always in for a good AMA, and so am I. I definitely would love to hear more about the technicals behind it and how this would potentially be able to be implemented in our current setup and what kind of benefits that would have for the DAO and its kind of token holders, and what kind of partnership that would strike up between us and Rook. But yeah, this definitely sounds like something worth continuing the conversation.
Yeah, great. I'll definitely connect you with the technical people from Rook, all the geniuses over there. But great. I'm glad there's some initial interest from you and PTT. Looking forward to learning about your product as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we can definitely do like a joint thing. Normally when we do those AMAs, we try and get them kind of org leaders there. So maybe we can get either a thread started in our calendars compared to get something on it so we can do it. We prefer to do AMAs here on our Discord stage too, just to kind of bring folks in. We have done Twitter Spaces as well in the past. So happy to figure out the logistics of that on the other end. But sounds like this is an intro to another call.
That's right. Yeah, the calendar will be the most difficult part, I'm sure. But okay, channel here, and thanks again, everyone, for your time. I really liked this structure you have going on. I'll see if Rook can implement the appreciation in the beginning. I really like that.
Yeah, that's a cool little ad. Appreciate Josh for adding that. And if you wouldn't mind maybe dropping a link to Rook in the stage chat there as well, so we can have a clickable link for all of our lazy foxes that aren't going to Google it after we're done talking. Awesome. Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Wes, for your time.